Welcome back, everybody, to Warriors of the Rainbow Spiritual Guidance YouTube channel. My name is Jason, and I'm going to be your guide. So this is going to be a little different video because I was eating. As you can see, I was literally eating, right? And I got stopped in my tracks because I know I need to create this video. I'm going to title this video, Everything is a Mirror. So everything is mirroring back to you what you are. Everything. So if you're not confident in yourself, you're going to have that mirror, you're going to have experiences come up that are going to validate that. It's essentially what I'm saying, right? If you're always giving anger to people in your responses, or like getting angry within you, right? Because you can act one way, but truly within you is totally different, right? So I could be like, act and speak loving nature, like I care about you, but then my actions don't align to what I'm saying, right? So it's about the inner world. What's going on within you is always mirroring itself back. So, and I've already explained this a lot to you guys before, and I'm pretty sure you guys understand that everybody mirrors back to you. All your situations are manifested by you, right? Okay. So let's break through something here because there is still in the spiritual community a paradigm that's being created and propagated, and it's actually disempowering instead of empowering. We always hear the terms they, and I still do this because when I say they, I am talking about ego-driven people, beings that are ego-driven, driven by the ego. Well, guess what? That includes us at times too, right? We are actually responsible for everything. Yes, that's right. So yes, there is ego-driven systems in the world, and the ego controls the world's systems, and it has for a very long time because we were in the age of ego, and now we are going back up to the age of spirit, back to knowledge, right? The age of Aquarius, it represents the ankles, right? So yeah, this started in Pisces and it started in Aquarius where we are becoming enlightened. It's happened numerous times in Pisces, 2,000 some odd years. The Renaissance, the Bible, those written, that was proof of it, right? So the oil is the water bearer, the oil. It's reaching the higher mind. The chrism, the Christ oil, the anointing, right? That's what's happening. So spirit, it's vibration, it's magnetism. It is being literally shown inside and outside. You're feeling it, right? This ease is going to happen faster. Yes, because now magnetism is back. And manifestation is going to happen like that. Magnetism, meaning you are giving more power to manifest. You are going to manifest what you are faster. That's the truth, okay? Now, what I really want, why I stopped and made this video really quickly was because there's a lot of truth. I follow a lot of stuff about syncretism and things like that, but even those people that are teaching these truths, okay, yes, they're showing you truths. I can still see what's going on with them and why they're not able to free themselves. It's because they're still in a victim. If you're in a victim, you're not fully ascended. You're not going to ascend in a victim because what it does when you say the world is, there's this force and it's out to get me, you are then saying you had no part in it. Well, that may be the case in this lifetime, but I'm going to be honest, that's also not the case because we all are participating in the ego-driven systems. And because we are participating in them, we are then just as responsible. This is why it says to awaken yourself, is why it's all through the community, and then everything will shift. Yeah, because you have to awaken, and then once you awaken and you step into your power, you then have to start taking actions. We are to blame too for the systems. We don't know your past lives. Not all everybody knows their past lives, but I can tell you, look at your life and your experience of this life, and you're going to realize, wow, if I had to be awakened this life, then that means in last life, I probably wasn't awakened. Yes, because when you go on, if you don't ascend to a certain, you're going to return where you started. It's like the beginning is the end. Yeah, so you're going to just fall off, and then you're going to return with that same magnetism, that same vibration, that same resonance. And then you're going to learn more this time, right? Well, you could also go backwards, because when you pass, if you're on, say, 1 to 100 is the highest, 100's the highest, right? And 0 is the lowest, right? And say when you died, you were in a vibrational spectrum scale of 25, right? Well, guess what? You're going to return with 25. Now, say in this lifetime you return with that 25, but you do evil things, right? And you go backwards. And now say you're at a 16 when you pass. Well, there you go. And this is that cycle. It's a cycle. It's a wheel within a wheel within a wheel, right? So in order to get into the higher planes of heaven, what does that even mean? Many people, oh, it's up there. Well, yeah, it is a mirroring of what's up there, but it's talking about getting into your higher mind, the neocortex, the Matrix. The Matrix is not a story about world domination. The Matrix is everybody in the Matrix is you. It is a story of you. You are the masculine and the feminine. You are awakening. You are Neo when he awakens at the computer desk in his sleep, in his slumber. Yeah, that's you. You are also the reason why the guys that were chasing him, the agents, were everywhere, and that could take over everyone, because it's the ego. The ego says everybody's out to get me. It's not a story about the world domination plan and blah blah blah. You guys, the ego doesn't need that. They are that particular being that's been running that part of that being, that dimension of being that's been running the systems, is now shifting. Why? Because, and it's going to shift faster if each of us awaken to this truth. We have to awaken, and we have to separate ourselves from these ego systems. We can't continue allowing the ego to win. We have to make a stand. And that's going to be tough. See, a lot of people are thinking that things are going to be easy and it's golden age. Yes, but there has to be some shifting. You guys, look at the earth. Look at the seasons. As what happens in fall, all the leaves decay in the northern hemisphere, right? Death, decay, rebirth, a great winter. And I believe that's even in the Bible where it talks about a winter. There are going to have to be some stands here. And we don't beat them with, doing what they do, violence and guns and blah, blah, blah. We don't need to. We do it by not participating in it. We do it by educating ourselves. You guys, the language is being used against us, because the language is in different meanings. It's like, I don't know what example I can use, but it's definitely like, all right, represent. Or is it represent? Because that's a totally different meaning, right? Are you representing or are you representing? You got to know language. You got to educate yourself, because yes, the people with the ego mind that are running the systems, yeah, that's what ego does. It controls and tries to dominate and force, because it doesn't know, it doesn't need to. It's in a state of fear. It's in the animal reptilian mind. They need to be loved. They need to be that system, they need to fall. But what's happening is it's our responsibility to allow that to happen. We're participating because we were sleeping with them, right? We were sleeping with the devil, sleeping with the enemy. Yeah, because we were sleeping, we weren't awake. And now we are awake. So I don't care what it is that you're going through, it doesn't matter. You're the common denominator. You have the power. It's you can react and act and make changes within. You do not have to engage, right? You have to call out your own ego. That is the superpower. That is the way we will shift everything. And I know because I've seen it in my experience. And I'm still going through things, you guys, because I still have to constantly suppress that ego. I have to shut it out. But how do you shut it out? Well, the first key is to become aware of it. Once you're aware of it, guess what you do? When those thoughts come in, that's coming from the ego, the old passageways that have been created in the mind, the automatic subconscious things, you have to call it out. It says, call out evil, right? Call out darkness, and you have to call it out of your life. What does that mean? Well, the moment you identify that it's not real and it's not meant to be there, you called it out. And if you continually do that, it will then embed itself into the subconscious where it doesn't exist anymore. Don't listen to the fear propaganda that's going on, right? Because there is control systems. I'm not saying that they're not trying to do it. I'm not saying that there aren't ego people running the world or anything. I'm saying yes, there is. But I'm saying that you don't have to fear it, because your job is to get closer to the spirit within you, the communion. Have communion with me, meaning you're putting yourself in these situations. We all are, because we've denied our self. We denied our being. We denied the Godhead essence within us, whether in this lifetime and last lifetime, to the point where we've kind of suppressed it. That still small voice, that voice that tells you, hey, this is not for you, but yet you go do it. Over and over, you continually to do that. You're numbing out your voice. You're like turning out the station, right? That's the truth, you guys. So when you see people getting mad and going into this world domination, and yes, it's happening, but by you focusing on that and putting your energy into it, guess what you're doing? You're continuing it. Stop talking about it. Not stop talking about it. I don't mean like that. Like right now, you have to go within. You have to change within yourself, because yes, all right. In the Bible, for example, there's a scripture that talks about there will be beings that could even drink poison and it will not affect them. Yes, because if you vibrate, if your frequency, your magnetism is at a high enough level, your vibration, whatever that is, the actual terminology. I don't know the wordings that people are using. Like I have this book and I'm learning stuff, right? But there's different words. But if you are high enough on the spectrum, anything lower cannot affect you. So if you're dealing with disease or illnesses or anything like that, then it's because there's something going on within you that needs to be shifted. I got COVID or whatever it is, a couple months ago, and I knew right off the rip, because of what I was in my thinking for like the month prior. I knew it was me. I manifested that because I brought the energy in through my corona, because I was lowering my vibration by my actions, the food and the things that I was eating, the things I was taking as truth within myself, the ego that I was listening to. Just because somebody looks like it's the inner world, man. And the truth is, a lot of people are getting sick because they're participating in sick things. They're eating flesh. I don't care, you guys. I may lose subscribers. I'm telling you the truth. You eat death, you all will become death. It's the truth. You are opening yourself up to that energy of death. Everything is energy. A thought is energy. That thought is going to come back to you. That emotion is going to come back to you. That food, whatever was going on with that animal, now it's death. You killed an animal. And people will say, "Oh, it's okay. It's in the Bible." No, it's not. That's lost in translation. It does not condone, because they use Moses. Well, little do they know, Moses is a representation of the unawakened being who didn't awaken until he went up the mountaintop and awakened. Moses was the ego. He didn't awaken until the fire in the bush on the top of the mountain. Yeah, until he reached a higher mind. It says the spirit is in the blood. If the spirit is in the blood and animals have blood, then what are they? They're us. They're mammals. We're mammals. You're eating yourself. That's what it's telling you. And I'm sorry. Like, I'm baffled that I didn't know this stuff, but I did. I knew a long time ago, and I just kept denying it. But it's the truth. That is. And if you're going to eat that meat that's not meant to be ingested inside you, then you will end up causing yourself to get sick. It will happen. But if you eat freely from the tree of life, you eat good foods that are good for your body, that are grown from the ground, that come from the earth. It says, eat freely from the earth. That the earth, everything in the earth was made for you, for sustenance, right? Animals were not made in the earth. Animals were made with spirit. The same spirit that has made us. That's what you need to understand. The blood. It's in the blood. Okay? You're not a victim, you guys. You have way more power than you guys ever known, and I'm here to speak it. I am a true warrior of the rainbow because I'm here to ascend up the rainbow and attain the activate the rainbow light body by traveling. This is a physical and a spiritual. It's two-part. It's actually mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. The spiritual side is the final side, because when you control all elements of your own being, you then control all elements outside of you. And everything becomes holy. Whole. That's the truth. And I'm speaking truth to you guys, and I hope those that have ears are going to hear it and are going to understand. And if I were you guys, I would share this video with people, because it is the truth. You are the center. You are. Every one of us are the center. 0 point. We are 0 point. We decide what comes into our experience, whether you're conscious of it or unconscious, not conscious of it. It's the truth. In all your experience and everything you've seen, there's one common denominator in it all, and it's you. So, own this truth. It's time to step into truth. It's time to listen to that voice. Stop suppressing it. Stop listening to other people and listen to your own voice first. Don't take anything what I'm saying here without doing your own search, because a lot of you guys, you know this ultimate truth. You do. Everybody does. To be honest with you, everybody does. Oh yeah, and that just brought up another thing. It says all will bow. There is going to be a day that's coming where everybody is going to awaken, because here's what happens. Those that are really struggling and like are doing this evil stuff, right? This very when I say demonic, that's a proper way, because it's opposite of man, demonic, right? It's opposite of life. What's going to happen is when they pass on, they're going to return they're going to come back into this body, into this realm, and what's going to happen is, when they come back, the level of consciousness the planet's on is going to shift the trajectory of their experience in this next life. There is no hell, you guys. There is just a circle of life. Okay? Hell is experienced in the now, just like heaven. We are in the garden, you guys. We are in heaven. Suppress that ego. Control the elements by controlling them within. You are powerful. You're not a victim. No matter what happens in the world, if you are doing what you're supposed to do, being authentic and true, loving yourself and loving your neighbor, eating foods of life, following that still small voice, then you cannot be harmed by any of it. Can't. You will only be harmed if you allow it to harm you. So educate yourself. Fast. Get closer to the spirit within. By doing so, you will find the way. The path is inside you, and you will know where to go. Raise that chrism. Raise that fluid. Abstain from physical sex. Sex is great, you guys, but tantric sex, spiritual sex, most of you never even had. Actually, I'll bet you 99% of the world has never had it. Probably even more, because they're in the senses. You got to overcome them. You got to stop eating foods out of because you're bored. You got to stop. You got to eat for the need of the body, not to satisfy cravings and urges. Get out of that. That's ego. The world is a mirror. I want to go back to what I was saying about when I was walking home. So I was walking home today, and I was thinking, so if everything is a mirror, what happens if you were the only person in the entire world? Like, there was no other versions of life but you. How would the mirror still apply? How would it still apply? And then it brought me into thinking about energy and what are apparitions, what are ghosts, what are paranormal activity. Well, the word para kind of explains it, right? And so what I was receiving is that is a manifestation of what's happening within you, because everything, like when you take ayahuasca and you go on an ayahuasca journey, everybody's like, oh, I get all these visions. Where are the visions coming from? Within. Where is everything being experienced? Within. So everything is a mirror. When people say, I was praying and I went to the higher courts of, they're winning within their own being, because the reality, the planes, the seven heavens, the seven dimensions of your being is a part of you. You already have it within you. And the highest of them all, the seventh, the crown, the higher mind, the neocortex, where you learn that you control the reality, the elements, that you are in control. That is the truth. That's the grandest truth you could ever realize. Now, a lot of people that are claiming they have their third eye open and they're activated, and they don't. And I'm going to tell you how you recognize them. You will know them by their fruits. Are they speaking this truth? Or are they saying, oh, there's an evil force and it's out to get me? No, then they're not awakened, because they're not realizing it's themselves. I still am not fully opened. And I mean, I definitely am becoming, but I know there's more. There's far more that's still to be revealed. But the journey has begun. So yeah, have I got spiritual eyes? Oh, yes, I do. I have spiritual eyes. I see the truth. But do I think it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger? Yes, I do. I don't think anybody that most people that everyone that's on here, most people are not awaking completely. It is not, it's very rare does it happen, poof. It's a process. It's an ascension process. Unless you're focusing on raising that chrism oil, unless you are speaking these truths, then you will know how far someone is. It doesn't matter how much intellectual truth you have and how much things you can repeat, how much knowledge you can pack within you. That is futile unless it is being lived out in your life. That is somebody that's awakened. It's someone who is taking action and living it. It's not just saying, hey, well, I could tell you all this stuff and repeat what I learned, but are you living it? That is a truly awakened being. Just like the Native Americans, man. There wasn't many of them that were awakened. Well, this age, it is a huge opportunity for all of us to become fully awakened. But that journey, the path is narrow, meaning you have to listen to your full inner higher self the entire way. You have to suppress the ego the entire way. It's going to action is going to have to be required. You can't think your way into heaven. You can't feel your way into heaven. You're in a plane of matter. You have to also ascend your physical being, your mental being, your emotional being, then your spiritual. Your energy follows all three of those. That's what spirit means. I am extremely tapped in, getting massive amount of information, so I keep stopping the video and then needing to elaborate even more. The survival mind and the systems and how they're created to keep us in the survival mind. A lot of people continue doing what they're used to, and they use this excuse of, oh, I need to survive, so I'm going to stay in this system or continue this because it's all about survival. Well, if you're thinking about survival, right, then you are in that survival animalistic mind. It tells you a reflection of your being, right? And that's why a lot of us are stagnating ourselves, is because we're not stepping out in faith and having confidence that what we know we need to do from that still small voice is going to be successful. And instead, we're talking down on ourselves. We're talking ourselves down. Like, we know, oh, I probably should stop eating meat, right? I should probably eat vegetables and all that stuff. Oh, I should probably not smoke cigarettes. But then we trick ourselves to doing it, right? We do things because, well, I know these systems are corrupt, but how do we stop partaking in them? How do we stop doing that? How do we stop this? You start taking action. You start moving in that direction. You start seeking within yourself instead of outside of yourself. If you know the ego's running the show, stop giving the ego the attention. If you know, like, there's stuff going on in the ego-driven system, stop watching the news. Stop partaking in the stuff that is the problem, right? If I don't know how to say that, but what people are doing is they're staying in this survival state of mind. And this survival state of mind is being mirrored back to them. So the way the systems are working is because the ego systems have hijacked our consciousness by feeding us ego material, videos, movies, news, right? And then that shifts our consciousness, and then we take actions based on our consciousness. So how do we shift it? We change our consciousness. We open our eyes. We start seeing truth. And then once we see the truth, it is now your responsibility to act accordingly. Oh, I know cigarettes are bad for me, but I'm going to still smoke them. But I want the world to have peace and healing. And do you not see the idiot, the insane? Like, and then you keep smoking, and then you feel bad about it. You feel guilty and shameful. There goes your vibration. Now you lowered your frequency. Now your manifesting power is crap, and you are manifesting dis-ease. And I'm calling myself out here, by the way. Like, the medication things. I know the medicine system it's a fraud. I know this for fact. I know that it is done to keep us in a loop, to keep us constantly getting sick and returning to that system. But I continue to take medications because I fear that I'm going to be sick. Well, I'm only going to be sick because not them, I partaked in that and I kept doing it. So now I have to say, well, yes, the system's there, but I'm not going to take part of it. And I slowly been, yes, I'm almost there, like the closest I've ever been, and I'm going to get there this time because I know I am. I know what I'm here for. I'm to ascend to the body, the rainbow light body. But what are you continually doing? What are you doing to keep yourself in a survival consciousness? Everything is a mirror. So the world is going to reflect your consciousness. And if one being at a time can shift their consciousness one by one, the world will change, and only that way. Don't listen to the fake crap that you're hearing on the freaking TV, the televised vision. They are, yes, the ego ran people are using psychology. That's what they call it. They don't understand that it's spiritual. They're not seeing it that way. They think it's matter and psychology and how the brain works. They're spiritually blind. Spiritually blind. They don't understand. They don't believe in oneness. They don't believe because they're in their ego. But guess what? They are still our brothers and sisters. They are still us. We were them at one point or another, whether this lifetime or last. For most of us, this. So you can't get mad at nobody. You have to love them. You have to love all. Show grace. At what measure you give grace, is that the same measure will be done to you, right? If you deny me, I will also deny you the access to the keys to heaven, right? Because yes, the so small voice is guiding you to liberation, guiding you to the highest level of consciousness. But if you suppress it, you can never make it into the higher court, the higher mind. You can't make it into the neocortex. So get it out of the survival mind. Get out of the worry and the fear and the doubt. Like, well, if I quit this job that I know I shouldn't be working because it's evil, the system, right? I'm working for a brutal banking system, right? Then you're propagating that. So, and I don't understand how we're all going to do this, because it's going to take us to really stop participating in every system. And I mean every system. It's going to take families to stop registering their kids in a birth certificate, because the birth certificate, BC, District Columbia, British Columbia. What is up with the Columbia? Why is it Columbia? Columbia, also the creator, the number one supplier of cocaine. What's up with the Columbia? Maybe it's the El Quisadors that came here and freaking demolished, working on that part of Rome. It's a one world order thing. Domination, world domination plan. Yeah, ego runs the world. Ego is the god of the world. So we have to. And I got brought to the Bible today. Jesus and Jesus' mother, Joseph and Mary, what'd they do? Well, Herod was doing a census, and they say, oh, he was killing any children that was under the age of 2. And yes, because he was having them sign into a birth certificate system of death. DC, death certificate. You guys don't understand that they're calling us dead, because they're saying we don't have the intellect to see what's happening. That's what's there. If you take an oath, meaning if you sign your signature, that's why it's called cursive, because you're signing your curse onto yourself. You're taking oath. And in the Bible, it says, thou shalt never take an oath, neither in here nor in heaven. Well, you're taking an oath. Do you see what's happening? They don't believe, and they're doing this at a rebellion because they don't believe. They believe in world domination. They believe that's what the ego does. Think about when you were in the ego. What did you believe? It's this simple. What do you need to remove from your life, and what action can you take? It's not about feeling guilty and shame, and get away from that, because you didn't have it in your awareness. If you didn't have it in your awareness, then you had no responsibility. And that's why the Bible says that once you become aware, you then have a responsibility. The more wisdom you attain, if you own no knowledge and you're not taking action, you are accountable, right? Accountability. I have the ability to take account because I was told, and this is what I did. Responsibility. Now you have the ability to respond because you're aware. Well, I'm making you aware. And you know, I'm also struggling with this too, because this is for me as well. But liberation is coming. Just keep moving forward. Keep taking actions. Don't focus on all your sins. Don't focus on all the things you're not doing correctly. Focus at the most easy, the one that you can take care of first. Then start building momentum. Little by little, you will get out of the survival mind and you will be free and you will be living. But it's time. We cannot get in the survival mind. We need to figure out how to come together and live without being in the ego-driven systems. So take proper action. Listen to that voice. You can do anything. You have all the power inside you. Thank you guys for being here, listening to this message. Feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. I still offer private readings, private sessions. Go ahead and email me. It's in the description box. If you'd like to donate to the channel, I am definitely in need of some things because I'm changing this channel a little bit. I'm going to start moving away from tarot and do more educational videos. And I need a few things like a dry erase board and a few other things. If you guys have that on your heart to help, in the description box is my Cash App, PayPal, Venmo usernames. Go ahead. Anything helps. $1, $5, $10, $20, whatever it is, guys. Thank you. I'm also going to still be doing readings too. So just stay tuned, you guys. There's some cool things that I'm learning that I'm going to be sharing, and I can see, practicing the semen retention, eating healthy, the vegan diet, exercise, meditation. I'm able to absorb more, and I'm able to connect the dots a lot easier. Okay. I am a healer. So honestly, my biggest gift is one-on-one healing. I know that I can read energy in people, but I definitely am being guided to ascend and to show others how to ascend. It is our birthright. It's our birthright to be in communion with our higher self. Let's listen to that source essence. We all have it. I'm sending you guys so much love and light. Namaste.